Oh yeah, we're good. We're perfect. All right. I think I will get started, guys. Listen, I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome. We're getting geared up to start here. I wanted to give an extra minute for the folks that are jumping on. I will say that many of you who are watching now, as promised, are watching as a replay. When this idea was being tossed around among my friends, among Facebook groups, we all knew busy parents. We're either gonna jump on and watch it, or we're gonna watch it when we get a chance after we put these kids down. And I totally understand that. So welcome to those of you who are joining now. Welcome to those who are watching a replay. Hey, let me get started. I wanted to quickly give you all a heads up on what we're doing here, what this is about. Right before we get into our guest, Jephney Herring, who will be joining us. Here, I want to give you a quick vision for this, parenting fearlessly. I want to just talk about the intention, the purpose behind that. And while I'm talking about it, some of you have already started to comment and say hi, good evening. Hi, Adrian. Hello, Eldar. It's good to see you. And feel free, guys, as you're coming in to say hi. But I want to give you a quick idea of what I'm after here. Here's the thing. I recently created or put up a YouTube video that talked about parenting in 2021 and forward and beyond. And one of the things that I mentioned in there is how it was actually a study. I'll put the link in for you all to see in a second. But it's actually a study that studied and looked at families in Italy and realized how impacted. I mean, you guys remember how bad it was in Italy. It was like super bad. And they were trying to figure out how well the kids were regulating themselves. And what they found is that it wasn't deaths in the family. It wasn't being placed in an environment where it was hit hard. It wasn't parents losing jobs. The thing that indicated the best outcome for kids was how well their parents regulated, how well their parents were walking through it. Two things: how confident they felt in their parenting, like the actual strategies, and the second thing was how effective they felt they were in what they're doing. So that is this. I want parents to feel confident and to feel effective. And the mission here is to bring together parents who will be able to speak to specific topics. But guys, beyond that, I want to talk to parents who are doing this fearlessly, who are taking chances, who are saying, look, I'm doing this not just because it's comfortable, not because it's not, right? Not because it's it's fun, it's hard, it's fearless, and it's for the sake of ourselves and for our kids, and to take us all into the future and make sure that we exit this thing better than we started. That's the point. That's what we're doing here, and that's the conversation that I want to continue. Well, without further ado, I want to introduce our guest here, Jephney, who is joining us and will be able to speak to her own experience walking through this. And Jephney, welcome. Yeah, Jephney is a longtime friend of mine. I mean, we watched each other fight through college into our degrees, and now with all these kids that we have, which is really hilarious. The fact that we were kids when we first started
Ourselves,
campus
yes.
ministry and walking through all of that. Jeffney let me crash at her place a couple times
Yes.
for my summer classes. Look, I would love to speak specifically as we get into this, Jeffney, on the social experience and you guys walking through that. But before we get there, fill me in. Tell us about your family. Tell us about you guys.
Hi, everybody. Well, first of all, Eddie, thank you so much for having me on. I'm like super excited to be here. My name is Jephney Herring. I am a wife of 14 years now to Mr. Landon Herring. We have five beautiful children who range from the age of 12 to the age of 14 months. So I'm one of those mothers who take a while at the doctor because I'm trying to figure out, okay, when were they born again? I'm counting down from the first one. We're a very active family, especially prior to COVID. We're a very active family. The boys did track. My daughter, she's pretty young. She's 5 now. She was in ballet. Um, and we're actually a homeschooling family now. So that's a whole nother story. I don't know if we'll get into it, but
Yeah.
yeah, we're homeschooling all 5 children.
Yeah, I have you back on for that one. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited just to talk about some things with you guys today and dig in with Eddie so we can talk about how we're doing this thing fearlessly.
Yeah, it's excellent. It's excellent. I think one of the things that would be maybe just a quick way, an easy way to get into this is how'd you guys navigate through last year? Like, what did that look like for your family, and where are you guys at now?
Whoa. Okay. So, um, initially, I had a desire to homeschool my children. I always had a desire to homeschool them, but they were in traditional school. All of my kids were going through traditional schooling. I had decided, my husband and I both, that we would transition them out in middle school just because to transition 4 kids out all at once we thought would be a bit much. So I had transitioned my oldest out. He's in middle school and we're doing homeschooling. The other kids were doing traditional school. It was working out great. And then coming into 2019, was it 2019 or 2020? Whenever it was that COVID hit,
Yeah,
everything is
2020.
blending.
It's just one
Everything is
whole.
blending in
Yeah.
for me. So, so but then I mean the other kids were showing a desire to stay home anyway. And so when COVID hit, we just went ahead and jumped in head first into homeschooling all 4 at that time. Now 5 of our kids, which is it's been very interesting since this is our first time homeschooling. I don't have anyone in my family who's ever homeschooled,
Mm-hmm.
so it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot, but
Yeah.
it was definitely something that we wanted to do for our family. So what we did, and I think what's important for all of the families on here to know, whether you're parenting singly or you're married, whatever it is we blocked out the noise. You have to block out the noise.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of
Yeah.
noise
Yeah.
from people who just didn't understand what homeschool was. Um, but we decided to block out the noise and do what we felt was best for our children and what we felt like, I mean, ultimately, what we felt God was leading us to do for our children.
That that is incredibly important. In fact, I feel like for me, there's been like this draw on my heart constantly to teach parents to block out noise, like to deal with the external opinions of what's happening that's trying to drive behavior and expectation, because that stuff is like just driving us into the ground, like constantly. Opinion pieces from from the news, Facebook, groups. It's all like messy and noisy, and it's really
Right.
hard. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay, so honestly, I'm very much involved in social media because there are some good points in social media, but you have to be so careful to what you're listening to. And it's not just what you're listening to, but who you're listening to. And then even sometimes in your family, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're on this journey with our family. And sometimes we're not going to look like our moms. We're
Yeah.
not going to look like our dads. We're not going to do it the same way. And oftentimes we're fighting not to do it the way that they did it. Um, and so what happens is they're meaning, they mean well, and they're just speaking different things into your family and your life and your head that along with the blogs and the Facebook groups and all of those things, it can bring a lot of doubt, right?
Right. Yeah.
And it's hard to be fearless when you're doubting every step. Well, maybe we shouldn't have, or maybe I should have, or pick what you think, what you believe that you're supposed to be doing for your family. Go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Reevaluate it in a couple of months hey, this isn't working for our family.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe we need to go a different route. At
Yeah.
first, I was literally homeschooling all of the kids. Um, I was doing the curriculum for all of them. So this is like a seventh grader, a fifth grader, a third grader, a pre-K. And then I had, my son who's one now. I was literally trying to get the curriculum together for all of them. My first, or this would be my second year homeschooling, never homeschooled before. And so at one point, I had to reevaluate what I was doing,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Homeschooling ultimately was still something that the family wanted to do, but I had to stop and reevaluate how it was being done.
Right. Okay.
So I had some counsel, and they introduced me to this thing called Florida Flex, where it's a curriculum that's brought by the state, but it's a flexible curriculum where you don't have to be on there with the teacher every day, and I can still supplement what I want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reevaluate, shut out the noise,
Mm-hmm.
and still, it's our families are essentially a machine that's running, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some parts don't work, we cut them out, and we start all over, and there's no shame in that.
Right, right. Yeah, I think, I mean, just this topic alone, very, very big. In fact, as you guys are listening to this, leave a comment if you want us to just do a live with just talking through the homeschool thing. I would love to have engagement, have other people that are homeschoolers or thinking about it engage the conversation too. So just leave a comment, and we'll make that a part of this whole parenting fearless series that we have going. So that's cool. Yeah, and we also homeschool our 3-year old, no 4-year old. Man, I was making fun of you for forgetting your kids' ages. All right, 4-year old and our 6-year old. I think my wife was watching this, so trying to get it right.
I was looking over because I was like, I know I saw her
You know
comment.
she's gonna comment soon. So look, I want to do this. I think let's get to one of the main things I'd love for you to speak to, because look, it's been something that we all have been trying to navigate and figure out. How do we stay socially healthy in the middle of a lockdown year, lockdown situations, and so there's just we're all walking through it differently. There are approaches that are very different, and I thought about having you speak to this specifically because of the initiatives that you are already building with event planning and building capacity for people to enjoy their family. I mean, you're doing some really amazing things. I hope to learn more about that. But first, address this question: how are you and your family staying intentional about staying active and being socially healthy?
So, here's the thing. Before COVID, before we were all locked down, um, especially when it concerned the children, everything was about, they need social interaction, they need social interaction, and we automatically thought that that was with other children, and they do need social interaction with other children. But I think what COVID has allowed us to do is build this kind of social interaction within our families,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for us, it's the little things.
Mm-hmm.
So my husband comes from work. There are days where we've been cooped up in the house the entire time. And so we'll do a family walk. And that's something that the kids like truly enjoy. And so what I come to realize is I'm learning more about my children because we're being so social, right? They're not in a school 8 hours a day, or they're not somewhere socializing with other people, and then they come home, we get a few hours with them, but we don't really get to see how they handle situations and challenges.
Right.
I think for me, it's a little easier because I have multiple children, so they interact with one another.
Mm-hmm.
But another awesome thing is we have like-minded families
Mm-hmm.
that we connect with, and most of them have multiple children. So we're doing a lot of virtual interacting with other children. We're my daughter is now, she's very social. She's very much into calling her friends now. You guys, she's 5 years old. Okay, she wakes me up and she says, "Can I call Riley? It's her birthday today. I want to say happy birthday." So I mean, we have technology is just it's an awesome thing,
Yeah,
and I find that if you're using social media for the right thing, connecting with like-minded people, that you can actually get some very genuine interactions. There's some cool things going on online. There are some story times going on. So you get that kind of interaction.
hmm,
You get to walk out, walk outdoor. We do once in a blue we'll do like YouTube has these workout videos. So we'll do workout videos in the house sometimes, and the kids are really into it. So finding what your kids are into, digging in online to kind of find some groups where they can socialize with other children in a safe environment where you're present, listening to conversations, listening to how they respond to things. That's how we've been staying social.
that's excellent.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it's been good. I
yeah,
can't complain.
I love that. I like. I'm highlighting the one statement you made is almost like social activity and health starts in the home first. It starts with our connection, and I love that because it's like how often do we feel so bad about not having something external, but kind of negate or forget what we have internal, in terms of just the
Right.
family and us getting closer. But obviously, utilizing social media and online resources as a way to reinforce and build that. And I'm noticing that as well. Our kids, every Wednesday, they have a connection time with other kids their age. And it's great because their friends are in Atlanta, they're in Washington, they're in, just all around the world, and they're all connecting and seeing each other. And it's creating a social diet that they wouldn't have had, you
Right.
know.
And they're learning from each other too.
Yeah.
I would imagine. So
Hmm.
like they're like, "Oh, is it snowing where you are? It's not snowing over here."
Hmm.
Like it's amazing how much children learn. I think sometimes, since we're adults and we've come out of that phase, we almost forget how much they're learning just through those kind of
Right,
interactions.
right. That's a good point. It's a great point. And I want to just highlight that. It's like we take for granted the capacity our kids have. And it's serious. My wife and I used to every weekend take the kids to a park because we thought too much energy. They have to get out, they have to go play, they have to go run. So every weekend we spent most of our time being professional park hunters and going from park to park. And what we didn't realize is how much capacity our kids have to just sit in their own backyard and create this beautiful world in their imagination, or to build something in their home, or just to connect in different ways. And again, I took it for granted, their capacity to just be settled, and enjoy what we have and what we're creating together.
That is
Uh,
so good. So, in other words, guys, take the pressure off of yourself and give them the pots to bang on, okay?
yeah,
Stop buying all these fancy toys because all they want is to bang on a pot.
yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that. Let me highlight comment from Adrienne. She says it's important for us as parents to create those connections with other like-minded parents. I think that's like a really great point, Adrian. Thank you for adding that.
Important.
I mean, how important has that been for you?
It's listen, um, again, all of us have different values, right? All of us have different values. All of us have things that we feel is important for our family unit. We have character traits that we want our children to have. So making the right connections, like Adrian said, right? It's not just about any connection, because the connection that Adrian may want for her family may not be the connection that works for me. So
Mhm.
making the right kind of connections with like-minded people, I think that brings a level of anxiety down for
Yeah,
us too as parents,
yeah,
right? So yeah, again, just doing what works for you, your family, and bringing those like-minded character traits around you, those like-minded thought processes. With me, my children, everybody that I expose to my children to may not think exactly like us, but I'm always listening to see how my children respond to things, right?
Yeah.
Socially, how are they able to explain their values to other people? How are they respecting other people's values? Like those kind of things are important to me. So when I look for groups, when I look for people for them to hang out with virtually, or even if it's just like in a safe social distancing environment, I'm looking for those things. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're absolutely right.
All
The
right.
community that you choose is
Yeah.
really important.
Yeah. And just the FYI, if any of you are listening to this and looking for a community, looking for a place to belong, obviously start local, start with church, you start with friends. On Facebook, within this profile, I have a parenting group called Bridge to Parenting, with like-minded parents like me and Jephney, parents who are absolutely determined to build bridges for their children, and give them a place to really express and be who they are. So request to join it is private. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah, I'm gonna
can't.
go on there.
Yeah,
He get
yeah,
he has some great nuggets on there,
yeah,
guys.
yeah. Well, good, good. Well, with that, Jeffney, I really want to I want to turn into what I was mentioning earlier. I want to learn more about what you have going because you're already doing some pretty great things, not just for the online community, but also like outside, and events, and your husband and Landon, by the way, was my roommate in college for an
He told
entire year and a
me.
half. I completely forgot that. Dude, you're
He
like,
told me.
just tell him you're my favorite. I forgot completely. I'm sure I ate his food a couple times, but I love him, and I want to hear more about like as a family, what you guys are doing to support the community, and how we can support you.
Awesome. Well, first of all, both my husband and I are very much like shifting into an entrepreneurial mindset. So I do have an events and planning firm called Divinely Eloquent Events and Planning. You can find me under that very same name, Divinely Eloquent Events, right on Instagram. Um, and I've recently launched something that I'm super excited about. It's a initiative called Beyond Self Care, right? And it's challenging Christian women believers to think of self care beyond what everybody's talking now as far as the hair, the makeup, the spa. We need that self care too, guys. But just doing an inner work, right? Where we're finding contentment and peace with where we are now. I think social media sometimes always have us striving to do more, to be more, and that doesn't only affect us, that affects our children as well. So we're just challenging everybody to go beyond self-care and do the inner work. So I do have a newsletter that's coming out, and we do have a community that we're building around this thought process. So every second and fourth Thursday you can find me on Facebook Live under Jephney Herring, and we're just talking all things self-care. This month we've been doing travel,
Hmm.
and I have a guest on next Thursday, which is going to be talking all things hiking, right? So we're talking about keeping the kids social. Outdoor events right now during COVID is like it's a beautiful thing because there's so much space. You can definitely distance yourself. You can challenge yourself as a family unit because I'm not necessarily the hiking type, but I'm definitely I'm definitely gonna be going out hiking with my kids soon. Because I will have somebody on. His name is Donnell McCant, and he has all of the hidden gems right here in our own neighborhood. So
Nice.
you guys, you don't have to be the professional park searchers anymore, because he's gonna tell you where all the cool places are
Oh, it's
that you
gonna be
guys
good.
can go hiking with the kids. So yeah, I would love to have you guys join my newsletter.
Fantastic. And I put the link there, so you guys just click that and sign in, and let's stay updated on those. That'd be excellent. And I know we can
Good.
How do we keep up with you? How do we keep up with what's going on in your world?
Um, Herring Pride. So on Instagram at Herring Pride, we just recently launched our family page, which is really interesting. But we just try to show you just honest, large family living, so that you guys can see. So it's pretty unpolished, you guys. So when you go on there, expect the laundry loads and the crying babies, but we just want to present that side of
That's excellent.
the, because we're all met with those kind of challenges.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And you and I were just talking about that where on Facebook and on social media, they see like you tune in, you see lights, you see everybody's looking
Cameras,
great, and
action.
what you don't see is about 2 minutes before I ran up here, I had to like wrestle the little one to bed. It's messy, and we're all figuring it out. We don't know exactly how to do this, but it's a one foot in front of the other, and I want us to have the confidence to do that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
tell me how I say it's Natiba, right?
Table
Look,
one.
she has this awesome comment.
Should I
You
put it
see
up?
me?
Yeah,
Um,
look at you. This is okay. This is a long one. My girl, let me see how if I. So no one knows exactly how to get it parenting done because each great parent's advice still needs to be assessed and matched to each unique child. Thank you, babe. And yeah, I mean, just I'm gonna put it back up there. So listening and evaluating and discern where our children are at and what they need is what needs our faith and confidence, and no
yeah.
one can do better job than us. So no point doubting and doubting. One last one.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty
That
good,
was
right?
good. That was really good. And it goes
Yeah.
back to is it Andrea? It goes back to what Andrea said. Uh, no, Adrian, right? Adrian. It
Adrian.
goes back to
Yeah.
what Adrian said. I did write down some key things. You guys, to parent fearlessly.
Mm.
One, give yourself grace, right?
Yeah.
That's something that we've been hearing a lot. But grace, one definition of grace is to be polite and thoughtful. It's a polite and thoughtful way to behave. So a lot of times we're not polite to ourselves. We're not thoughtful about how we're actually self-talking, right?
I'm gonna put this
We
camera
do
on you,
one
girl.
thing.
I'm gonna put this camera on you. You're going.
We do one thing as a parent, and we automatically just start beating ourselves up. We start with a negative self talk. Maybe I'm not, you know, good enough for this. Maybe I'm not really up to this parenting thing. So give yourself grace. Be polite and thoughtful to yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Another thing about parenting fearlessly, we've already said block out the noise. Block out the noise from what's not helping you, but be very intentional about asking for help when you need help.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Can can you ask for help, please?
So good. Yeah.
Okay. So whether you're a single parent and you need help from some friends and family, you evaluate, you assess what friends and family are in line with my values, which one of them, think like me, are going to pour into my children the right way, and ask for the help. It doesn't have to be, they don't have to be there for a week, but if you need one day, you need one night to kind of get yourself together, do that. Ask for the help.
Mm-hmm.
I had to ask for help with homeschooling. I was like, this not working for me. All these curriculums all by myself. And I connected to Flex and it happened to be working and I love it. So ask for the help.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very humbling thing. Parenting is going to humble you and it's going to show you how faulty and weak you are. Okay?
Please, yes.
If I
Preach.
think I
Absolutely.
think God was like, "Oh, I need them to see how weak they are." Boom, let's have children. That's what.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like, boom, give them some kids.
Right.
I'm like, I'm sorry, Lord, for anything I've ever done. That's not right. Having kids that have you out here repenting,
It'll do it.
like.
No doubt. No doubt.
So,
See
and
all
then
your
just
mess.
last but not least, just being content, guys. And I think sometimes, this is something that you guys actually said on your last podcast, Eddie. You better tell them, remind them about the podcast.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
sometimes we have to unplug, right? We
Mm-hmm.
have to unplug from Instagram. We have to unplug from social media, and we just have to get in a place of gratitude about what we do have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be especially helpful with COVID, since we're not able to, the kids may not be able to do sports like they used to. We might not be able to get out and do as much as we used to do. But unplugging from those things that are showing us just what seems like perfection is really going to be helpful in removing doubt out of our own hearts and giving us a sense of gratitude for what we do have.
Yeah.
You guys are more than able to parent fearlessly. And I'm like super excited that thank you, Eddie, for allowing me to do this.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for those thoughts. I mean,
No
yeah, I
problem.
couldn't tie it together better than that. And we all feel it, right? And I appreciate to hear the conviction behind what you're saying. And even reading through these messages, Adrian and Dilling, I mean, you realize that where you guys aren't just speaking from knowledge, we're speaking from fight, right? We're speaking from faith. Like we're like, I'm not just giving it to you, but I'm believing the thing that I'm telling you all right now
Yeah.
for myself. And I think that's so crucial. And I'm so grateful for friends like you, Jephney, and the people around us
Yeah.
that can be clear, that can offer clarity and a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
don't know if it's Mick Givens. I don't want to see. We're supposed to be on here for 30 minutes, you guys. I'm so sorry, but this is so good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's him or her, but
Mm-hmm.
Mick Givens said, most importantly, being kids. Too
Yeah.
many children are doing things way beyond their age.
Mm. Right. Right.
So that's something to take in, right?
Yeah.
Fearless parenting sometimes will have you saying no to things that everybody else around you is saying yes to, right?
Jeffney,
Like my
what you doing?
my my child is 12. No, because
So
that's a
good.
great point.
It is
Whoever
though.
Mr. or Miss Givens is, you
So good.
said that, okay?
Yeah.
Because my child is 12 years old, and for the life of me, he won't stop asking me about a cell phone. But sir, where are you going? Like you're not going anywhere where you need a cell phone. And I've just seen how much cell phones and social medias and just even tablets that have educational things. I've seen how addicting that could be, and I will not allow myself to give my children those devices so early.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be fearless enough to get the ridicule from my friends and other parents that are letting them do it. I mean, I have nothing against it if you're okay with that and you have a way of managing that. That's
Yeah.
great.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But for me,
Unique. Yeah.
it's a unique thing for me. I
Mm-hmm.
have to be fearless about saying, no, you can't have it. And 12 and 13 is really the age now. When he was in school, I could almost find two kids that did not have cell phones.
Yeah. Wow.
So now it's challenging me to be fearless, but then it's challenging him too. Because
Mm-hmm.
now he's getting approached with, oh, you don't have a cell phone? Oh, well, what about this and what about that? No, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now he has to kind of understand those values. We have to talk those things through with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he understands very much so why we won't allow him to
Yeah.
get into those kind of things. But yeah, I think that was awesome.
That's
Thank you
good.
so much for saying that. You
That's
have to
excellent.
allow your children to be children. And sometimes because of the technology that there is now, they're getting exposed to things way too early.
Yeah. And that's so good. If there's anything that this last year has taught us is that um, there is no norm anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like the things that we depended on kind of fell. The things that we kind of just was able to put up our feet and relax and say, hey, let's go with the flow. That didn't work anymore. We had to teach our own kids like half of last year, and hold it together while the teachers and everybody's figuring out. We had to navigate all of these crises and all this other stuff that was happening around the world, things breaking apart. And look, if there's going to be a point of reference anymore, it's going to have to be us. It's going to have to be what we perceive as appropriate for that unique and specific child. And we have to have
Very
confidence
good.
in that. We have to have confidence,
Very good.
fearless.
We have to be the point of reference.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then each child is unique. So
Mm-hmm.
then it's like navigating that, what does each child need? What can
Yeah.
I do with one child that I can't do with another?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Correct.
we're out here, we're doing it, guys. We're doing it.
All right, Jeffrey. Do you have any other comments that you want to bring in before I start? I start.
No,
All right. All
no.
right.
Don't mess me up because I'll be on here for another 30 minutes. Don't do it to me. I'm Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm done. I'm
Uh-huh.
done. Hi, Edna. Edna said going
Uh,
against the grain as a parent shows courage, not feeling the need to conform.
yeah. Yeah. That's
And then
excellent.
Adrian, we create the narrative.
We
We
do.
do.
Absolutely.
We do. We create the narrative and it's up to us to do it.
Yeah.
Fearlessly and not be ashamed.
Yeah.
Not be ashamed to take a stand, not be ashamed to do it how you need to do it for your family.
Excellent. Excellent. Jeffney, thank you so much. I really
Thank
appreciate this time.
you.
Obviously we're gonna have to touch base. Yeah. Anyways, well, offline. I know definitely my wife has been talking about connecting with you. So
Yeah.
I'll continue. So let me summarize this for you and everyone. I want to again thank you all for joining this, and I want you to look forward to these conversations. I have a plan right now to have this once a month, where as parents we can build our sense of confidence and defy the fear, defy the intimidation, all the other noise that's coming to just kind of claim the effectiveness of our parenting. Like we're going to do that, and we're going to have to keep having these conversations, so it could become even more effective at doing it. So I look forward to again touching base with you all next month. Yeah, thank you for being a part of this. Please follow through and check out what Jephney's doing. Follow and receive that newsletter. Track the real life happening on the Instagram feed. And you guys let me know what and how I can come alongside you and support you in the meantime. You all take care and have a good rest of your evening.
Definitely. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming on.
All right. All right. Bye, folks.